What do you do when the hurt comes from where you should have been safe? I was a victim of child abuse. I want to say something before I go any further. Today isn't going to be easy to talk about, and it's going to be difficult to hear. This is not meant to shock you. It's meant to help someone feel less alone. So if you need to pause, breathe, or come back later, that's okay. Your safety matters here. When people hear the word abuse, they often imagine something distant, extreme, or obvious. But abuse doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides in silence. Sometimes it happens behind closed doors. Sometimes it comes from the very place you were supposed to feel protected. So, yeah, I was abused as a child. And even saying that out loud still feels strange sometimes because for a long time, I didn't have language for what was happening. I just knew something felt wrong. I knew fear lived where safety should have been. I knew my body learned tension before it learned peace, and I knew silence felt safer than speaking. And when you're a child, you don't analyze abuse, you adapt to it. And that's just what I did. At first, I just became smaller, not physically, just socially. The less I could make my presence known, the better. I wanted to be invisible. When that didn't work, I ran. On one particular instance I want to share with you, running was my only option. Only it didn't work. Now, I do need to let you know that the stories I share in this channel won't necessarily be in a linear timeline. I'll be jumping back and forth and throughout my life and the lives of other victims. Um, so this story begins when I was 7 years old. My mom had been at the mental institution for a few years now, and my dad had remarried to a woman that had 8 kids. My dad had four of his own. That's 12. So things were crowded. My dad and new mom were fully enveloped in addiction, and my dad's anger toward me and me alone had not gone away. One day, as I sat on the front porch taking a break from yard work, my dad came outside and he found me. He was not happy to see me sitting down, and he made that known as he seethed through his teeth with rage. I'm sorry, I said as I panicked and jumped to start working again. But that wasn't enough, though. He lunged from the porch, grabbing a piece of old water hose lying on the ground. And as I said before, if being invisible didn't work, running was the next option. So that's just what I did. And I ran around that house that day 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And on the third time, I stopped. I was in the backyard, and up on the hill behind our house, I could see the neighbor's house. And I remember thinking, if I just go there, I'll be safe. But I was 7 and terrified and trained not to say a thing. So I ran inside. Just inside the door was our laundry room, and with 12 kids and 2 adults, you can imagine the pile of clothes in that laundry room. So I tripped. What happened next was really just a flurry. First, my new mom ran and dove on top of me. Next, his silhouette breached the door frame. I could see him breathing heavily as anger seethed from his expression. My new mom screamed, "Stop! Don't do this!" After he beat through her, he finally got to his object, me. I recall this incident so well because I remember not being able to wear shorts to school on the hot days ahead, because you better not say anything to anyone, boy, you hear me? Yes, sir. My new mom, Luann, she showed me what servanthood looked like that day as she tried her very best to deflect my dad, the monster's onslaught. You know, something people don't talk about enough is that children don't rebel against abuse, they just adjust to it. They learn how to disappear, how to behave, how to draw attention to something else, and how to survive. And survival becomes the goal, not understanding, not healing, just getting through, surviving. What abuse took from me wasn't just safety. It took innocence, it took trust, it took the ability to relax without scanning for danger. It taught me that love could hurt, that authority couldn't be trusted, and that my voice did not matter. And those lessons didn't stay in childhood. They followed me into adulthood. Maybe that's true for you too. Maybe you grew up learning to stay quiet instead of asking for help, or to accept pain instead of questioning it, to believe what happened was somehow your fault, but it's not. And even now, years later, you still carry that weight, even if no one else can see it. Let me say this clearly, because someone needs to hear it. What happened to you was not your fault. Not because you were weak, not because you didn't fight, not because you didn't speak. We all survive the only way we know how, and surviving is not failure. Now, this channel isn't necessarily about God, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't talk about him from time to time. So for a long time, I struggled with God because of what I endured. I didn't know how to reconcile faith with pain like that, and I didn't know how to trust a God who felt silent when I needed protection. And if that's where you are, confused, angry, distant, unsure, you're not broken for feeling that way. Faith that hasn't wrestled is fragile. Faith that survives these realities, it's real. Healing didn't come all at once for me, though. It came in moments. Moments where I realized I wasn't weak. I was wounded. I wasn't defective. I was hurt. I wasn't alone. I was just unheard. And slowly, very slowly, the shame loosened its grip. If you've never said it out loud before, even just to yourself, you can say it now. Something happened to me, and it mattered. That sentence alone can be the beginning of healing. This channel isn't about reopening wounds. I need to make that clear. It's about letting light reach places that stayed hidden for too long. And if you're carrying a story like this, you don't have to rush healing. You don't have to explain everything. You don't have to be strong here. You just need to stay. So I'll ask you gently, what part of your story have you been carrying alone? And what would it feel like to finally let someone see it?